I'm Anthony from Learning to Play the Guitar. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the #1 hit Time in a Bottle by the singer-songwriter Jim Croce. This song has been featured in many TV shows and films since it was released in the 70s, including shows such as MacGyver, the X-Men movie Days of Future Past, and The Hangover Part 2. The song has a waltz feel in the time signature of 3/4, meaning there's 3 beats in the bar. It features 2 guitar parts, one in standard tuning without any capo, and the other one with a capo at fret 5. The song here features a descending bass line a la Stairway to Heaven, but in this case it will be in the key of D minor, and the 2 guitar parts here blend together well, creating an intricate sound with finger-picking arpeggios. So this song here is in the key of D minor, so the very first chord we have in the song is of course D minor, which is this here. The song is also a finger picking song, so we're going to use our fingers versus the guitar pick to play the patterns here. So it's mainly based around arpeggio patterns, so we're going to use our thumb, our index, middle and ring fingers, and so for the first D minor chord we're going to pluck the thumb, index on the G, middle finger on the B string and ring finger down here on the bottom E string, or the first string. The song also features a descending bass line, very similar to what you hear in Stairway to Heaven, but in this case being in D minor, obviously the chord shapes will be a bit different. So starting off now with the D minor, we're going to pick our way through the pattern here with the open D string, 3, 1, 3, 2, following the tab there, and I'm again using all my separate fingers to pluck each string here. The next part is a little bit fiddly, where we're going to hang on to the D minor shape but stretch our little finger all the way to fret 4 for the C sharp bass note. And we have a D minor chord with a C sharp bass, which is that sort of cool sound. Moving down, we're going to shove our little finger across to fret 3 while maintaining the D minor shape for a C natural bass note. At the end of that we have an open G, and you can lift that little finger off there as well. So I'll do that again. 0 G there. Now the next chord is a G7 with a B in the bass. To make that work, I'm hanging onto my #1 F note, my #3 D note there, but I'm adding my second finger on the B note here on the A string. Plucking like so, and again the thumb has just moved up a string, but the other 3 guys are doing the bottom 3 strings as in the first 3 bars. Next section down, intro part 2, we're going to go to the B flat in the bass, which sort of relates to making this, I suppose, a G minor type of chord. So now we've got a 1 B flat note there on the A string, and my 3D hasn't moved here for my 3rd finger, and we have this pattern here in the tab. And then we have some pairs here in tenths, a la something like out of Blackbird by the Beatles, but obviously a bit different. So I've got this G minor B flat, which in tab is a 1 and a 3. You could also call this B flat if you wanted to. Then we've got a 0-2, which is an A related thing there with the A string open with my thumb, and I'm plucking this bottom string with my middle finger because that's his job. Now we've got a pair of 3s up here, so it's a G minor on those 2 strings there in the tab, as you can see. Then we've got an A thing with the 2-0, an open G there, so you could almost call that A7. The pair 2-3, slide that up 2 frets to a 4-5, A C sharp, and then the final little bit of this intro, double 8. So I'll use fingers 2 and 3 here on the D and B strings. Pair, thumb, and my middle finger again is still plucking that same B string, that's his job. Index on the open G, 6 and a 7, so 6, which is an F and an A, hinting at a D minor in my mind. Those 2 same strings, and G again with my index, and then we have this open G and a #5 on the B string, and they've got a little twiddly 5-6-5 ornament here. So I'm going to pluck that with my index and my middle finger again, because that's his job on the B string. So I'll play that intro now, all together nice and slow. When we go to the verse of the song, it's very similar to the intro. It's the same basic idea with some variations. So here we go with the D minor again, but we're going to pluck it slightly differently. So we've got just the single bass note and a pair, 1 on the 3 and the 0, 2. And again, we'll have that C sharp bass note on fret 4. Bit awkward, that guy, but then we lift it off with an open D, which makes it 10% easier, or whatever you want to call it. It's slightly easier. Then we're going to go third finger here on the C note. Open D again, I can move that out of the way to make that easier. The G7B thing again from the intro, but again, picking with a pair of notes when we get to the 1-3s or the 3-1s. Some open strings there in the middle. Again, the thumb is just moving up between the D and the A strings, while the other 3 guys are still the same as the intro underneath there. And then we have the G minor B flat sort of chord again, but instead of plucking an arpeggio here, we're going to just pluck elements of the chord. Bass note, 3 strings together, and open D string. Then we have these pairs again, which are similar from the intro. So I'm going to go the G minor B flat, the A2, 0-2 thing, the pair of 3s. Watching my fingers here, of course. Pairs moving up, same shapes really. Just an open G on the end in this case, so a little bit less busy. So then the second half of the verse again is similar, but there's a little variation where we're going to start with slightly different picking, but it is D minor based again. So we've got the open D, the 1-3 pair on the bottom, 0-2, but we're going to skip the C sharp and go straight to the C natural, which is a bit easier. Pair, and then take that little guy out of the way for the open D string, the G minor B flat, open D string, cool, G, regular G chord there with the 3D version of that down there, and again the thumb is hitting the bass on the bass string, with the other index on the G, the second finger, middle finger on the B string, of course, same as before. Then we're going to change to a D minor F, which is the 1, 2, 3 here in the tab. Then we've got a 0, 0, which I'll thumb that. Now we have a G minor, so to make that work I've got to play the standard G minor bar chord with the 3 3s. 5 with my thumb there in the tab. Then we have again similar chord shapes from before, but we're going to do open G a la Blackbird, but different. 4 zeros and E string on the bottom, that one, open G, and then we have this little hammer-on pull-off 2-3-2 A major little thing here on the B string, open B, and then back. So I'll play that entire verse now, nice and slow again. Part 2 of this, D minor again. G minor. So in the bridge of the song here, it goes from a minor sound to a major sound, so from a D minor type of thing to a D major vibe. So as a result, it is going to sound a little bit different. So the fingers here, actually fingers 1 and 2 on the 2 and the 3, so it's actually an easier part than the main verse. So here we go. So the first thing here is a 2-finger version of a D chord, 0, 2, 3, 0. Fairly easy. Again, the descending bass line, but now the third finger can hit the C sharp, so we don't need the other fingers to stretch to the number 1 F note anymore. Get them out of the way. Again, much easier that. Now it's a B minor type thing to my ears. A number 2, a number 2, and a number 3. Take them off for a D related thing with an A in the bass. Nice and easy. And then we have a G or G6, which is really just the number 3 G bass note. Was that 1-finger chord there, Then an F sharp minor, we've got a 2-2, and then I'm going to have some zeros. Just taking those fingers away. E minor 7, essentially open strings with a 3D note stuck on the end of it. Then those pairs again. And that pattern goes around twice. I'll play the whole thing again slowly now. So the final main bit here is the coda, the end of the song, which has a bit of a Tenacious D, Black Sabbath sort of vibe to my ears, sort of a weird D minor sound, a D minor 9 technically. So we have a pair of open strings, the D and the E string, and then we've got a 6 and a 7, and some harmonics as well appearing, where we're just going to lightly touch the strings above the 7th fret. But anyway, here we go. Following the tab, 7-7. Harmonic there, plucking quite hard, open A, and that repeats that arpeggio again. A little rest, 7-7, harmonics again, just very lightly touching the strings, not pressing down, just on the frets. Then harmonic 7, then open A, open D, and then the chord, which I'll just thumb strum that chord on the end. So the second guitar in the song here, Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce, is using a capo at fret 5. So the song is in D minor, but as a result, the D minor chords will now be based around the A minor chord shape, the capo here at fret 5. So the intro part has this little high part, which sounds a bit like a mandolin sort of vibe, but it is an acoustic guitar. So here we go, following the tab, it's A minor related, again with this descending bass note, but I'll label things as A minor as we go along, just so we can relate them to the capo shape. So a pair of 5s anyway. So I'm going to use my thumb. You can use your index finger on the bottom string, or I like to use my middle finger on the bottom string here, but it's a little 2-note descending melody, again in the old 3-4 waltz time. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3, and then a 5 and a 4. 5 and a 3. D major related, I'm going to use my fingers 2 and 3. And then I'm going to stretch deliberately my first finger to fret 1, which is a bit awkward, but that allows me to hang on to this number 1 note as I move around this for this little section here, which I'm going to call D minor related in this capo position. So I've got 3, 1, 0, 1. First finger now on the other one, 1, 1. And then 3, 1, 1. Open B string, and then we've got these little pairs, 6s as intervals here. The thumb is now up on the G string, the 2s, 4, 7, 5, and the 4s. So I'll play that whole thing now nice and slow for you. So for the verse, it gets a bit fuller sounding now with the chords, so we're going to base it around the standard A minor shape, and we're going to have a bass line moving with my little finger and other variations. So first off, we have an A minor, picking our way through, thumb, index, middle, ring again, just like the other main guitar part, but obviously higher up with the capo. So here we go, A minor, up and down. Now G sharp on the bass, little finger stretching out to fret 4 from the capo, which is a dot on this guitar here. Then I'll slide that into the number 3 spot, which is here. That was the A minor G, sorry. The D9 F sharp, sort of a D7-y thing. Second fingernail will pop up the top here. Again, same picking pattern for those 4 chords there. Now the next guy, D minor 6 F, which is in reality first finger on the number 1 on the top, second finger down the bottom, number 1 there. So we've got a 1, 2, 0, 1, 0, 2, and then we've got a pair. 1 and 2 is already there. So these 6s again in terms of intervals, a 1, 0, pair of 3s. I'm just going to call this these interval shapes. Follow the tab. So that's verse part 1. Verse part 2, a little bit different. We've got a little 2-note melody here around the A minor chord. You can use fingers 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. Doesn't really matter too much as long as we get to the next chord cleanly. I'm going to use a middle and ring on the bottom 2 strings. So we've got a 1 and 2 and 3. Then I'm going to jump to this slightly awkward C chord shape here, a 5 5 5 3 with my 4 fingers as so, up and down. Then we're going to jump to a D minor 6, which is D minor missing this finger, up and down again. Now we're going to get that bass note, number 1 F down here, and we're going to do a little thumb dance because that's his job in the bass department. Next bit, back to regular A minor, a D minor chord. There is a missing bass note here on D minor, so we have a little mini break. So 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, and then the pairs again, and a little twiddly bit with an E bass note, if I'm calling it E from the capo, 0, 2, 0 there, and then 3, 0. So now we're going to play that whole verse section nice and slow for you. Here we go, A minor. Second part, little 2-note 5s, 1 and jump. A minor again. D. Pairs. So now into the bridge where it goes majory sounding, so here will become A majory, and so we're going to play this little A major from the capo shape here, which is that F chord shape sliding all the way up here, which is from the tab 5, 5, 6, 7, or your bass note is on fret 12 with the double dots is on your guitar if that helps you getting it sorted out. So this shape anyway, double 1, second and third finger. So we're going to go up and down again. So I'm going to call this A major from the capo, 7, 6 and 5s, down and up, thumb, 3 fingers again. It's very happy sounding. Calling this A minor 7 / G sharp, but you could also call it C sharp minor, I suppose. 6, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2 and a 3, 4 pair in the middle. Same picking. Then we go F sharp minor, 2, 2 with a bar and a third finger on the 4 for the F sharp bass note from the capo. Now F sharp minor E, or you could also call it A major, but I'm relating to this idea of this bass note moving down, which is E there from the capo. Then we have F sharp minor with a add 4, which is the open B string, 4, 2, 0. Up and down there. Then we got to go A sus2, I suppose, 2, 2, 0. D6, we just have one finger left on the number 2 and a pair of zeros either side. And then some pairs here, thirds, 2 and a 1, 2 and a 4, and a 4 and a 6. Like so, and that repeats. So let's do a quicker version of that, but not as fast as the real thing. So here we go, slow and easy. And that will go back to the intro, or the last time it goes into the coda. So now the Coda, again the sort of creepy, slightly scary sounding chords. Here it's going to be an A minor, add 2 again. So we got in tab, we've got a 7-5-0, first finger and third finger, and an open B string. And so then, and some harmonics as well on the fret 7s. Again, thumb, index, middle fingers doing the 3 strings. Fret 7, there, and back, and then we do that again. 7, 7, 7, plucking pretty hard with my thumb there, and 7, 7, 7, and then just strum the chord with the added open A string. So I'll just play that with a bit more of a flow, again nice and slow. Subscribe to the Learning to Play the Guitar YouTube channel for more lessons, and don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications when I upload a new video. You can also check out my books and more lessons at my website learningtoplaytheguitar.net. Thanks for watching and keep practicing.